Hey everyone, welcome back to another farm video. Today we are going to be building an easy dripstone farm for your Minecraft world. This farm will produce a total of 150 dripstone per hour. Also, this farm can be built underground. So everyone, grab your blueprints, grab your mouses, and let's head over to where we are going to start building this farm. So now that we are at our build site, let's open our blueprint and take a look at the resources we are going to use. These resources here can be any building block of your choice. I just use these blocks to make the farm look a little bit better. So we are going to need 153 oak leaves, 153 deep slate, 123 rail, 120 dripstone block, 64 dirt, 51 redstone, 48 glass, 26 deep slate walls, 23 powered rail, 23 redstone torches, 20 pistons, 12 glowstone, 12 honey blocks, 9 obsidian, 8 repeaters, 6 observers, 3 trapdoors, 3 sticky pistons, 2 chests, 2 buckets of water, 1 hopper minecart, 1 hopper, 1 comparator, and 1 pointed dripstone. So now that we know the resources we are going to use, let's put our blueprints in our back pocket, put our nail bags on, and let's build this farm. The total area of the dripstone farm is a 23 by 23 area. However, the farm itself is a 15 by 23 area. So please take this into account before you construct this farm. The first thing we want to do is come to an area and dig a 2x1 hole. Now that you've dug that 2x1 hole, we want to bring this out a further 13 blocks in this direction. That should be a total of 14 blocks. Now to the right, we want to come a further 11 blocks, making it a total of 12. You can now connect these 2 points and make it 2 blocks deep. Now on the side that is 14 blocks wide, we want to come over to one of our corners, come in 3 blocks, and then on the very next block we want to dig down 2 more blocks. We also want to make sure we then leave a block clear on either side. So continue this run all the way along. We now want to repeat the same process on the opposite side. We can then come to one of our corners, skip a block, and then dig down 2 more blocks. Now where you have dug those holes, we want to place redstone torches all the way along the bottom runs. You can now cover the top block with dirt. So we are now going to need our powered rails and our normal rails, and we're going to want to place powered rails wherever we placed our redstone torches. So we placed 2 redstone torches right here, so that means we're going to place 2 powered rails. A normal rail here, a powered rail there, normal rails all the way along, a powered rail there, and normal rails all the way along. You want to loop this all the way around, back and forth, until you end up back over there. Once we have got to this point with our rails, we want to destroy 2 more blocks out to the right. You can then also remove this block right here. Grab your rails and place 4 rails just like this. You can now jump up to the ground level, place another rail, remove these 3 blocks right here, and then you can place a double chest on these 2 blocks, come behind that double chest and place a hopper facing into that double chest. You can now grab your powered rail and place a powered rail on top of that hopper. You can now remove this block here, place a comparator facing this way, and then remove this block here, place a redstone torch facing that way, then grab your repeater and place a repeater facing that way, set to 1 tick, and then you can place a building block here and a building block here. You can now grab your hopper minecart and place it on the powered rail. As you will see, this hopper minecart will continue to go around until it gets to that point, in which case it will be sent back the other way. So we can now just cover the entire top block area with any building block we want to. We now want to come to this side with our pistons, skip one block, dig all the way across until we reach here and leave a block gap right here. We can then face these pistons in towards these deep slate blocks. You can now come to the other side, and then you want to remove a layer of deep slate, and then you want to place the pistons like this. So now that our pistons are in place, we're going to come to this end and remove deep slate blocks in front of the pistons. We now want to grab our redstone, come behind the pistons and run a line of redstone all the way to the end. You can then grab your repeater, place a repeater facing this way set to 4 ticks. We now want to place 8 more redstone down this line. At the end of that 8 redstone, we want to place a repeater facing this way set to 1 tick. You can now run redstone all the way along until you reach the back of the pistons. In which case you can then come behind, place a repeater facing this way set to 4 ticks. You can then run redstone all the way along the back of the pistons. You can now come back 2 blocks of redstone and then place a repeater facing this way set to 4 ticks. Then beside that repeater, we want to place a redstone dust. We now want to grab our deep slate blocks again and place a block there, a block there, a block there, and a block there. We can then grab our walls and place walls all the way along until we reach the other block. So we're going to light this floor up a little bit now, and in order to do that, we're going to need to use glowstone and not torches because this is a shifting floor and torches will break. You can place the lights anywhere you want as long as the light level is above 7 so mobs don't spawn. We can now grab our leaves and on either end where the pistons are, we can build up a total of 3 blocks and then we can build that wall all the way across. So this is what one side will look like and the other will look exactly the same. So we're going to repeat the same process. So we want to come to the side where there's a gap between the block and the pistons, and then we want to come over 2 blocks, and then on the next block we want to place a temporary block. We then want to come on the outside, jump up and place an observer facing that way. So the face of the observer should be on the inside. We can now place a block on the back of that observer and then place 5 more blocks from that, making that a total of 6 blocks. We then want to come around this side and add a further 5 blocks, making this side a total of 6. So we now want to grab 4 obsidian, and on the very end block we want to place 2 blocks of obsidian out and then 2 blocks of obsidian across. We can now use our temporary blocks to pillar up on top of the building blocks. We can now place a redstone dust here, a repeater here set to 4 ticks, and then run the redstone all the way around to this first obsidian block. Now on that obsidian, we want to place 2 redstone right here. We can now place a piece of dirt on the other side of this repeater, and then place a piece of obsidian on the other side of that, and then you can remove that dirt block. You can now grab your trapdoor and then flip it. You can now come behind that trapdoor and place an observer facing into that trapdoor. So the face of the observer should be facing into this trapdoor. Now at the back of that observer, we want to place a sticky piston facing this way. Now out from this 1 block of obsidian, we want to place a honey block. Then out from that, we want to place another honey block and then 3 more honey blocks to the left, making it a total of 4 this way and 1 in. Now on this sticky piston, we want to place 2 more honey blocks out. Now on the first honey block, we want to come 5 more blocks to the right, making it a total of 6 honey blocks. We can now grab another sticky piston and face a sticky piston this way right here. So for the next step, we want to grab our observers and we want to come over to these honey blocks and then face this way and place an observer right here, facing in this direction of course. We then want to place a block here, remove that block, and then face an observer this way. We can then remove the dirt block. Now that our flying machine is complete, we can come up 2 blocks on either side and then we can build a line of leaves all the way across. So we now want to come down, grab our leaves, and we want to place a line of leaves 2 high all the way across until we meet the other side. You can do this for the other side as well. So before we cover in this area with leaves a little bit, we've got a little bit more redstone to place, so we're going to finish that off. We want to come to this repeater right here, build up a few blocks, as this is going to be a good working height. So we now want to grab our obsidian, we want to skip a block, place a piece of obsidian there, there, and there. We can then skip 2 blocks, place a piece of dirt as a temporary block, and then place another block of obsidian and remove that dirt block. We can now place a trapdoor on this piece of obsidian and then flick it down, place a repeater and set it to 4 ticks. You can grab your 2 remaining redstone dust and place it there and there. We can now jump up, place a temporary block here, and then place an observer facing this way so that the face should be facing towards the trapdoor. Grab your temporary blocks again and face this redstone, place 1 block out, remove these blocks and place a sticky piston facing downwards. Grab your temporary blocks again, place 2 more blocks out like that, and then place an observer facing this way and remove those temporary blocks. We now want to jump up and then place leaves all the way across until we get to this piece of obsidian. Now that we're at that piece of obsidian, we want to come over 3 more blocks. Leave these 2 blocks in here vacant and that one there, and then place 2 more blocks. If you have done everything correctly, you can then go ahead and place a dirt block in front of this observer, remove the block, and you should notice the flying machine will activate, and once it gets to the very end, the shifting floor will move left to right to remove any dripstone that sets to the floor. Once this flying machine gets all the way back, it will stop until the dripstone reaches this point right here again. So that brings us to the next step. We want to place our dripstone blocks and then set up a bit of water on top to finish this off. We can now place a temporary block here, and then we want to place dripstone all the way along until we reach the very end, and in which case we're going to leave this block vacant. We can then run this dripstone all the way across this way, then we can return it all the way around and then fill it all in. So now that our dripstone is all in place, we want to place a temporary block on top of these leaves and then place a piece of glass on top of that dirt block, remove that dirt block, and then we can wrap this glass all the way around the dripstone to protect the water. So now we just need 2 water buckets and we need to make an infinite water source, which we can do by placing a water bucket there, skipping a block, and then placing another water bucket. We can then continuously take water from this point. So we then want to wrap water all the way around the outsides, and then it should all fill into source blocks. As you can see right here, it is slowly making itself into source blocks, which we just need to continue the same process right here until it all becomes source blocks. So we can now jump down and come inside, and then we can go ahead and place dripstone all underneath these dripstone blocks all the way to the very end, and in which case we want to leave this block vacant of any dripstone. So for this total area, you're going to need 110 dripstone to fill it. However, I allowed 1 for the video because you can start with 1 and simply mine it and farm it. So this farm is now fully functional and is ready to go. Once this dripstone there reaches that observer, the flying machine will go across and harvest any dripstone in that line. So basically dripstone spreads to the bottom block, and that's what the shifting floor is for, so it breaks any dripstone, collecting them as well. The last thing I also like to do is to dig down a little bit of a staircase like this, and then place a trapdoor up against that block, flick it, and then what you can do is if you flick it again, you can go under, and if you need to edit something under here, you can do so. If you want this farm to go off on a timer, you can simply add a hopper clock instead of the observer I use, and you can also make this continuously go back and forth on no timer at all. However, unloading these chunks with this running can break the flying machine, so I suggest walking away with it turned off, and you can simply do this with a lever or breaking the observer. So we AFK'd this farm for a total of 1 hour, and as you can see we are growing dripstone very regularly, and in 1 hour it produced a total of 150 dripstone. This farm took me less than 30 minutes to build, and it produces 150 dripstone per hour. I really hope you enjoyed this video, and if you require further help with this farm, be sure to join my personal Discord and we will be sure to help you out. I'd also like to say a big thank you to my Patreon, The Midget, for supporting my channel. If you wish to support me, you can do so by heading to my Patreon. The link will be in the description. So thank you guys for watching, be sure to like and subscribe, and I hope you all have a wonderful day.